Hey guys, Central Florida Prepper here. Today we'll be discussing how to build a Faraday cage. Now this is a budget Faraday cage. I have seen some very extravagant, very well built Faraday cages. But here on the channel I show you what I use and what I believe works. Now I have tested my Faraday cages I built here at the house using my two-way radio, battery operated radio, even my cell phone, and put it into the Faraday cage with a camera on it. And as long as I'm not receiving vocal transmissions or I lose signal with the cell phone under video, it means my Faraday cage is working. Now this is budget, okay? So I already know there's going to be a lot of, well, you need to go check out this, you need to go check out that. And yeah, definitely go check out these other Faraday cages that are there. This is just ones that we built here at the house. They are under a budget, because I've seen Faraday cages very expensive, and I've seen them built very expensive. And there's nothing wrong with building an expensive Faraday cage. You are putting your electronics in there. You put in your inverters, your comms, things like that, medical equipment. All right, things that you do not want to get fried. All right, so yeah, you can go high end. This is just to show you how to build one on the cheap, just so you can put some level of protection on your electronics if you haven't even began or didn't know where to begin on a Faraday cage. All right, guys, so here we go. We're gonna get started on this today. Now, you do not have to use what the materials I'm using right now. This is just a cheap, easy way to build a Faraday cage. Now I have multiple ways of building Faraday cages. It depends on what I am putting in them. I have wooden cases made for a solar panel. You've all seen the smaller tote for some of my smaller electronics. But today I want to show you using a 5-gallon bucket. Alright, now this is just a standard Lowe's hardware 5-gallon bucket. It could be any 5-gallon bucket. Now I've taken the handles off, the metal handles. It makes it easier to wrap. And of course you need a lid. This is just the plastic lids from Walmart. They work great for this application. Also, we will be using today dollar store aluminum foil, some Gorilla Tape. This is the gray Gorilla Tape. See if I can get the logo there, wherever my finger's at. Now I have in the past, for extra protection, used expanded galvanized metal. And this is actually rain gutter screens, okay? They're pretty cheap. You do not have to use these on a Faraday cage, but I like to use these on some of my high-end electronics to make, it's just extra protection, and it's just creating a screen and extra protection of metal before I put the aluminum foil on top. But not required. You can do this with aluminum foil. Alright guys, so we will also be using cardboard. Alright, now is cardboard really necessary? Given the fact that this is a plastic container, odds are we don't need cardboard. But I'm going to show you how to use the cardboard. If you're using the galvanized metal trash containers, then yes, cardboard is definitely something that you want to use. What it does is create a barrier between that metal exterior from your electronics. Now, since this is plastic, we do have a barrier between our aluminum foil wrap, so technically we do not need it, but we're going to go ahead and do it today just to show you. Alright guys, let's dig into this. Okay guys, so like I said, cardboard is not required, but I like to use it just for an extra protection. First off, we want to put a base inside our 5-gallon bucket. This template's already drawn out, but you just take the cardboard down to the ground, put your bucket on top of it, and just scribe it in. Just trace it with a pen. Like I said, I've already done that. And then we'll go ahead and cut it out. Got the good old scissors here. See how well these do. Now, since the interior of the bucket is smaller than the exterior, as far as diameter goes, we will go ahead and cut inside the circle. But first, I'm just going to trim off all the excess, get rid of all that, get it out of the way. And it really doesn't matter how thick the cardboard is. Now, if you are using a metal container, I would recommend a thicker cardboard than this one here. But since we are putting it in a 5-gallon plastic container, we should be good. So yeah, just trim a little bit on the inside line. Odds are we're going to have to retrim again, mainly because the inside diameter of the bottom of the bucket is a lot smaller, and it's kind of trial and error. Eventually you'll get it trimmed down good and you'll slide it right on in. You do want a snug fit, at least as snug as possible. So today we have arts and craft with Central Florida Prepper. Oh, well, actually that works just fine. Okay, so yeah, that was pretty good. Alright, now as soon as I find out what the other cardboard necessary is, the cardboard that's going to go around the liner. Alright, I usually try to use one sheet of cardboard, but you can use multiple, and it'll go inside the liner. Real simple, but I will be getting the assistance of the Gorilla Tape. Now, I've already pre-cut this, but all you have to do when you got your sheet of cardboard, to keep it round, just take it and roll it with your hands, okay? Keeping the main lines of the cardboard running parallel there. And you just roll it up. That way you're kind of getting a good form when you set it down in here. Now the best thing to do is when you got one edge, go ahead and tape it in place, and that's where the Gorilla Tape comes in. You can use duct tape, you can use whatever you want to as long as it holds. I do like Gorilla Tape though. Just to hold it in place while we expand it out. Now while you're doing that, you can also take your tape. I use small strips just to hold it. And that way the lid can still clamp down over it. Should have pre-made some strips, huh guys? Now, I had talked in the past about Faraday cages, and I've had people request videos for them. I do apologize for not getting these videos to you sooner, but here it is anyway. And this is just a basic Faraday cage that anybody can make. It's cheap. I mean, a bucket, I don't know about a Home Depot bucket, I forgot how much those are, but even the buckets at Walmart are under $3. So really can't go wrong for the price. And again, this is only required if you're using a metal container for the base of your Faraday cage. Metal trash cans that we've all seen on the YouTube. And there is nothing wrong with using a metal container. Actually works very well, because we're actually using aluminum foil with ours, because it is on a budget, and I hate to say, but most of the things I'm doing on this channel are budget related because not everybody has a lot of money, but at least it is a step of preparedness with what you can afford. Alright, so there we go. Now for the lid, same scenario. You want to put a piece of cardboard on the inside of this, but you got to make sure it locks down, okay? So now I've got some high spots that I will have to trim with the razor blade. Alright guys, so once you've got your bucket and you got your liner on the inside, you will want to trim down the edge of your bucket, of the cardboard in the bucket, not the bucket itself, the cardboard. The reason being is when you put this lid down, it countersinks in with a bucket, so you've got to make sure it actually seals down in there, so you would trim it down. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all that. What we're going to do is we're going to pull this out and I'm going to show you how to wrap your Faraday cage with aluminum foil. Quite simple. Pull this tape off of here. That's right, I just tossed that. Okay. Now let's say that we've already got our cutout for our cardboard for the lid. It is secured in here. We'll go ahead and lock down the lid. Now this is after you've already put all your electronics and things like that in there. So you've got to wrap this. Alright. Now today we'll be using dollar store aluminum foil. It doesn't matter what type of aluminum foil you use as long as it is aluminum foil. Dollar store holds great prices. So for $1, can't go wrong. Always start at the base. Pull it up along the sides. Alright. Now you take a piece of tape. We will switch to some painter's tape just to hold things in position. There's no sense of wasting duct tape on this. I have seen the metal tape that people use to install ductwork, things like that. And yes, that will work just fine. Personally, I would only use that on the exterior layers of my Faraday cage. But this tape here is just to hold the aluminum in place while we start building the base around. And yeah, I'm afraid this is going to be a long video, guys, because it takes a while to wrap these things. Maybe I'll speed it up for y'all. But yeah, all you're doing is just creating the first base, alright? Now once that is in place, let me go put some more tape on here. You know, I made Faraday cages out of just aluminum foil and using clear Scotch tape. Works just fine, so don't be afraid of what type of tape you're using. As long as you are sealing everything, you should be good. Go ahead and get some more tape ready. Now when you're doing your layers, you want to do multiple layers. You don't want to just put one layer of aluminum foil on and call it good. You want multiple layers of this. So this is what's supposed to take the static charge from EMP or a CME. So you want it as thick as possible. Most of my Faraday cages I have wrapped in about 12 layers of aluminum foil. Overkill? Maybe. But I'd rather be safe than sorry. Don't worry about if your aluminum foil is not perfectly wrapped each time, because we are doing multiple passes. And once you're past this, you can actually sprinkle down the aluminum foil to your desired position. But you just slowly progress. Because a bucket is not perfectly rounded, it will taper. And it's not a perfect tube, it tapers, so you just constantly work it in position. You do want it as tight as possible between your layers, even if you have to wrinkle them and pull them in, as long as it's producing a protective barrier. Alright, so all these loose spots, just go ahead and crinkle them together. That way your base is nice and tight. Tape always comes in handy when dealing with aluminum foil. So basically you do not want a lot of air between the layers. You want them touching as much as possible with each other. And now these Faraday cage buckets, you are sealing them up or never taking anything out until necessary. So don't worry about, well, now I don't have any access to the inside because I got aluminum foil everywhere. I'm not worried about getting back in this thing. This is going to be for emergency purposes. Once it is sealed, it is sealed. And another reason why we put multiple layers is because if you tear the aluminum foil, that's quite alright. See, my finger just went through? It's quite alright because we're going to go back and layer some more on top of that. So just because a tear pops up, it doesn't matter, you are still putting more layers on top. And as long as you have layers and it is sealed with that final layer, you are good to go. Squeeze it all tight, make sure it's all sealed. Alright, let's go on up to the top here. When I get close to the top, sometimes it takes multiple layers to get the top covered, but you want to make sure it drapes down over the lid structure and gets down to the base again. Alright. Now I'll go ahead and hold this in place. Then we'll grab some more foil and lap it. Sorry about that, we just had a light malfunction again. I don't know what's going on with that. That is tied into the normal power grid. My fluorescent bulbs have not been lasting very long out here, so I'm sure there is some type of fluctuation been going on. Okay, once you've got the top sealed, you repeat the process all over again, starting at the bottom. And you will start working your way all the way back around, up the sides, back to the top, and you just keep repeating this process until you have felt that you have enough aluminum foil protective on the outside of this thing. And like I said, we usually use about 12 layers when we're done. So That's up to you on how many layers you put on these. For me, when I tested with my radios and my walkie-talkies, 12 layers of aluminum blocked my signal from getting out or transmitting in. So that I'm okay with that. That tells me there's no radio signal going in. So the odds are it's going to be okay if a EMP or a CME has struck. And what the purpose of this is that it will hit the foil, the metal out exterior, and dissipate around and won't actually get to the electronics that are inside. Alright guys, so hopefully that was somewhat informative for you. Like I've said, we wrap all of our Faraday cages multiple times with aluminum foil, and I did recheck my paperwork. Yeah, we do wrap them 12 additional times for 12 layers total, excuse me, of aluminum foil on the exterior of our cages. Now there are many ways to build these things. Alright, this is just a simple, cheap way of building them. I just want to relay that information to you. Now, why do I want to relay this information to you? Well, one, when shit hits the fan, having electronics stored away, charge controllers, inverters, things like that for your solar is going to make your life a lot easier, a lot more comfortable when the grid goes down. Dude, man, the grid ain't going down. Alright, I've got a couple things here for you. This is recent activity. Now, we have seen New York, and we've seen just recently Washington, D.C. power goes out. Now, these were because of storms and substation malfunctions and fires. Okay, I get that. It could be completely innocent natural causes, alright? But now these people still had no power. Now, threat of an EMP or a CME is a real threat. Now, that is where the Faraday cages come into play. Solar storms bombarding Earth with massive flares, ejecting coronal mass ejections. We all have heard, or if not everyone has heard, the Carrington event. Now, that was a very massive CME that hit the Earth, and it fried a lot of telegraph equipment. We didn't have our electronics today during that time. If we were to get hit by another one that size produced from the sun, it would fry a lot of stuff, okay? We would lose our grid. Alright, there's talks about whether the vehicles will run or not. Why take the chance? Right, prepare for it. Now, I did come across this morning, Central Banker World War WW3 had posted a news report that was sent to him. It was discussing that there was a massive solar flare. There was a CME heading towards Earth. Looks like it might glance off. So I went ahead and did my research. I pulled up his article that he posted for everybody. I'll put it there. Now, this was released from CTV. I do not know how accurate this is. I spent most of the morning trying to confirm from other sources if this was reliable or not. I'm not saying anything bad about Central Banker. He just reports the news like I do on a lot of things. But I couldn't find any additional backing on this. Now, this could be because they have silenced the news articles, or there's just a little bit of misinformation by accident by the people reporting this. And so, either way, if it's real, a massive CME coming towards Earth, I'm not understanding why there's not more information available. I checked on SolarHam, Suspicious Observer, I've checked NASA's websites. I have looked and looked for about 3 hours and could not find any confirmation on this. But if something like that was going to happen, would the government be willing to warn people? Odds are no. But here's the clip from that. Okay, so like I said, I couldn't find any secondary confirmation on this. I do appreciate Central Banker for getting that information out to us all here on YouTube. Um, you know, he gets reports and he brings it to us so that we can research everything. Central Banker is a really great guy. I've been subscribed to him for a good minute now, and I do appreciate everything he does. He's always real quick to put that news out for us real fast. He always provides us links to follow up, which is awesome. Another great newscast, it's a newscast, Full Spectrum Survival. I've been following Brad and his wife Kelly for a very, very long time now. I have never been misled by them. They are always on top of the news. Now sometimes their videos may come out late, but it's because they have to cross-reference and verify a lot of news and before they present it to us. So yeah, that is another channel to go check out. If you are not subscribed, go check out Full Spectrum Survival. They have some of the best news sources. They provide news sources for you, so you can always double check and follow up on things. I am subscribed to their Patreon page. A lot of useful information. I recommend everybody to go check it out. It costs $1. No, they did not ask me to say anything. Alright, it's just news that I use for my own preparedness, and it has always came in correct and helps me make plans on my preparedness situation, my plans, everything. So I definitely recommend y'all go checking these guys out. You definitely go check out Central Banker, go check out Full Spectrum Survival. So guys, that is our Faraday Cage. Well, one of ours. That was just a real quick way of how you can build you one. Now you don't have to use a 5-gallon bucket. You can use the galvanized garbage cans that we've seen on YouTube. All you have to do is make sure that you seal it up real good on the interior with cardboard, so that when the charge hits, it dissipates around. It doesn't go into the electronics that you are storing. My suggestion on using a galvanized garbage can: we all have seen Flex Seal advertised on those TV infomercial things like that, having a rubber-based paint, silicone, something. I like rubber better because it does great with electricity. Lining the interior of this will actually help insulate your electronics from that metal exterior. Now a lot of our Faraday cages, we have used a silicone base, epoxy, things like that on the interior just to block anything that might actually try to get through. Is it required? Probably not. Is it an extra safeguard step? Yes, it is. Alright guys, so please click that like button for me, subscribe if you are just passing through. There will be more videos on things like this, other steps of preparedness. So yeah, if you are passing through, hang out with us. We've got a great community here that is full of great information. Alright, my thoughts on things here on YouTube is just my own personal thoughts, things that I have tried, experimented with. Sometimes I have failure, sometimes I have success, but I share both. I share when I fail at something. I think we all remember me trying to make a copper tubing water purification system. It didn't turn out so well, but I'm always taking steps and trying new things. Alright guys, you take care, and I will speak to y'all later.